Alright, let's see here. Finally has some free time from the wife and kids. Let's play a game. You know, it's been a while since I played a beat 'em up. Let's find a good one to play. Ooh, here we go. Yeah, maybe next time. Let's find something better. Let's see here. Turtles in Time. One of my favorite beat 'em ups of all time. Such fond memories of this game as a kid. It sucks that the Sega Genesis owners never got this port. It's kind of BS when you think about it because... Of course! How could I forget you? That's right, baby. The Sega Genesis was blessed with a TMNT beat 'em up, and yes, it's Bossa Nova.
Huh? Bossa Nova?
To start off, we all know this game gets compared to Turtles in Time on the reg, and for obvious reasons. It's like someone talking about Eli Manning. It's just a matter of time before Peyton gets brought into the conversation. But because of this, these two games have actually grown to complement each other throughout the years. Like Peanut Butter and Jelly, Salt and Pepper, Duke Lacrosse and Penn State Football, Gin and Tonic, you get the idea. These games have become synonymous with the golden age of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle video games. Let's pop the sucker in and get started. Big Apple 3A... Ooh, wait, wrong game. Now, I highly doubt I'm alone on this, but I feel that comparing these two games has become pretty much outdated. These games are over 30 years old now. The 16-bit console wars are long over. The Hyperstone Heist and Turtles in Time have finally matured into their own separate games at this point in the hobby. And quite frankly, it's a blessing in disguise that these games are different because now that we're older and able to afford more things, we can own both copies and enjoy even more TMNT. The days of being a kid and having to decide which copy you wanted are long over. Enjoy the threesome, my man. Besides, at this point in our lives, I think the more important comparison between these two games is which game represents April O'Neil's bust better.
Oh, who is the babe?
In this video, I want to talk about two things regarding the Hyperstone Heist. One being my personal odyssey to find this game as a kid back in the day, and the other being my overall experience with the gameplay and my outlook on it today as an adult. With that said, I love both of these games. I love them to death. And in a rare occurrence, with me being a Sega Genesis owner, I actually have more nostalgia for Turtles in Time than I do the Hyperstone Heist, which I'll explain later on in the video. But here's the thing. Even though I think Turtles in Time was the better game during these games' releases in 1992, I actually find the Hyperstone Heist to be more playable as an adult today than Turtles in Time. Yeah, you heard me right. Now why is that, you ask? Well, before you pull a Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers and rip my nuts off, just hear me out on this. Throughout the years, I've noticed that whenever I play Turtles in Time, I'm enjoying it because the gameplay is top-notch. The game is gorgeous to look at, and it was an awesome part of my childhood. Nostalgia completely takes over when I pop this bad boy in. But here's the one problem with Turtles in Time. The game is too easy. It's a total walk in the park. Remember, I'm not talking about the arcade version, I'm talking about the Super Nintendo version. Even on the hard mode, I can breeze through it. Now look, I understand that there's counter arguments to this, I get it. You could alter the options and give yourself a few lives and take it from there. Maybe that's what they intended to do. Maybe they did that on purpose after so many people complained about this game being harder than Halo on Legendary. But here's the great thing about the Hyperstone Heist in my opinion. It's the better challenge overall. On hard mode, this game is no walk in the park. You have to try. It gives you focus, makes you stronger. Now look at this game on normal mode. Okay, decent amount of enemies, looks like a fair challenge. Looks good to me, right? Now look at it on hard mode. More enemies, tougher AI. Believe it or not, this is a tough challenge. It feels like I'm playing on the same level difficulty as the Streets of Rage trilogy. I'm actually getting challenged in this game. Oh look, enemies who moonwalk backwards every time you take a swing. Oh my god, get the hell over here! But like I said before, this is one of the things that I love about the Hyperstone Heist over Turtles in Time. The hard mode gives this game a slightly better replay value nowadays, because it will kick your ass if you're not paying attention. Now granted, I'm no expert at beat 'em ups, but I have some solid experience under my belt. I've beaten my fair share of them throughout the years. Now look, let's slow down for a little bit. I know I sound like I'm knocking Turtles in Time, and I'm not. Trust me, I'm really not. I'm just pointing out its one minor flaw where the Hyperstone Heist excels. I think Turtles in Time is amazing and an absolute masterpiece. Besides, everyone knows that Turtles in Time has more bosses, more levels that changes the game up very nicely. The stage where you throw the foot soldiers at Shredder, it just has a better flow and a much better presentation overall. Besides, that boss rush stage in Hyperstone Heist kinda sucks in my opinion. It would have been nice if we got another level with Bebop as a boss, but oh well. We did get Tatsu though. Now, getting back to when I said that I had more nostalgia for Turtles in Time than I do the Hyperstone Heist, well, this is where my experience with these two games come into play. Just thinking about it now, it feels like yesterday that I got to experience the greatness of Konami at its finest on the Sega Genesis. Well, of course it feels like yesterday because I actually picked this game up back in 2016. Yeah, 2016. Talk about uncowabunga, dude. Now, you're probably thinking, no way, this guy owned a Sega Genesis as a kid. How the hell did he not own this game? It's a staple in the Genesis library. And you're 100% right, because back when I was a kid, I loved the Ninja Turtles. I mean, loved them. I owned almost every piece of hardware out there. The sewer, those huge fighting dolls, the action figures, the party van. You get the idea, man. Sorry, ladies, this man is taken. The 1990 movie is still hands down one of my favorite movies of all time, and I can pretty much recite every line by memory. It's a goddamn classic in my opinion. So with that said, you can imagine as a Sega Genesis owner how stoked I was when I first saw previews of this game in one of those fold-up poster ads that you got with other games. Yeah, back before the internet. No way, a Turtles in Time on the Sega Genesis? It was at that moment that my quest to hook up with a chick for the first time was placed on the back burner, and it was my goal to get the Hyperstone Heist. You see, like a blockbuster VHS tape, you gotta be kind and rewind all the way back to the early 90s. Back then, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles needed no introduction, unless of course, you're talking about the epic intro from the 1987 cartoon, then yeah, it does need an introduction. An introduction that I can watch over and over and over again because it never gets old. The first time I saw the Ninja Turtles arcade cabinet down in Fantasy Island in Long Beach Island, New Jersey, was life-changing. It was like seeing your first naked woman. A double take was in order. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I must have thrown in at least $3 into that cabinet that day. That might not sound like a lot of money, but hey man, factor in inflation, that's like $10 in today's money. But it was at that moment that I dreamed of owning a home port of the Ninja Turtles arcade game. A year later, we got the NES version, which at the time of its release was amazing to own and play, but you knew in the back of your head that the port wasn't even remotely close to the greatness of the arcade cabinet. And of course, with greatness comes an even better sequel, and 2 years later, we got the magnum opus of Ninja Turtles video games, Turtles in Time for the arcade. Jesus Christ, this game blew me away when I first played it. But we all know the story, right? A year later, the Super Nintendo received one of the greatest arcade ports on any 16-bit console ever. You see, back in 1992, I was still playing the Atari 2600 at home. Ugh, God, kill me, please. But Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, I remember going over to my buddy's house and playing this game on the Super Nintendo for the first time. Holy shit. My mind was blown like Bill Clinton in 1996, and the cart was wearing a blue dress that day. This game was awesome. No joke, dude, it looked exactly like the arcade version. After experiencing that for the first time on the Super Nintendo, I begged and begged and begged my mom for a Super Nintendo. But just like getting laid in high school, that day never came for me. Now fast forward not too long later, and I finally got my Sega Genesis as well as an avalanche of amazing games. Trust me, I was a happy kid. But the one game that eluded me during my childhood, yeah, you guessed it, the Hyperstone Heist. Like I said before, my first glimpse of the Hyperstone Heist came in this poster ad. As soon as I got my Sega Genesis, the Hyperstone Heist was the only game on my radar for as long as I could remember. No matter how many stores I went to, my mom and I could never find this game. Like anywhere. You name the store, Nobody Beats the Wiz, Circuit City, we could not find it. It was like I was destined to play random hidden gems on the Genesis. But finally, the day came. My mom came home and told me that she found it for my birthday. She was like, "Hey Jimmy, I finally found the Ninja Turtles games that you were looking for." I was like, "Come on, no way." Well, she handed it to me. I opened up the bag and...
Shell shock.
Ugh, what? The hell is this? Tournament fighters? Ugh, come on, man. Look, in fairness, back in the mid-90s, our parents had no freaking clue what to look for. Can I blame my mom for seeing this game in the Sega Genesis section of the store and thinking, "Oh, this is the game that he wanted"? Of course not. Mom, I love you and thank you for trying. You're the best. Look, I'm not gonna lie, even though I was disappointed, I was still kinda stoked to get this game. After all, I was a diehard TMNT fan. So there I was. I popped this sucker in and, yeah, 30 plus years of getting my ass kicked. Jesus Christ, this game is harder than Diddy at a Justin Bieber concert. But I did beat it eventually. I swear to God, I beat the game. But I'm not here to talk about tournament fighters. I'm here to talk about the Hyperstone Heist, goddammit. I guess I'm kind of going off topic here, but I felt it was necessary to tell the story regarding this game because the Hyperstone Heist was literally the one game, yes, the one game that I always wanted to own as a kid, but never got to. I feel like I'm not alone here, right? I feel that every person out there experiences at some point as a kid, you know, like that one video game that you always wanted but you could never get. Let me know in the comment section below what that game was for you. Now fast forward to the year 2016. I bought my first house as a single guy with no kids. Well, I was dating my now wife then, but you know what I mean. Now what did I do? Well, I did what any sane single guy would do, set up a retro video game room. So there I was, playing NHL 94 and looking at all my Sega Genesis games on a piece of crap coal shelf right there in the corner, when suddenly I realized, I was like, wait a minute, I'm an adult with money. I can buy whatever game I want. So I hopped in my Toyota Camry, I immediately drove down to Asbury Park and visited the store called Kill Screen Games, and there it was. After 20 plus years of wanting this game, it was right in front of me. The game was $45 for a cartridge only, but I didn't even hesitate to buy it. And I'll never forget the time I brought it home and placed it into my Genesis and played it on a CRT TV and seeing the intro. It was a fulfilling moment. It was like hooking up with that one girl that you had a crush on in high school years after you graduated. The day had finally come. In conclusion, the Hyperstone Heist and Turtles in Time are both amazing in their own way. I would be an idiot Sega fanboy if I sat here and said that the Hyperstone Heist is the better game, because it's not. Turtles in Time was better and will always be the better overall game. But, like I said before, the Hyperstone Heist is the better challenge. If you noticed in the beginning of the video, I described my quest to find the Hyperstone Heist as a personal odyssey for a reason. In Homer's Odyssey, it took Odysseus 20 years to make his way back home to his wife and kid, just like it took 30 plus years for this cartridge to finally make it into my house. The way I look at these games now is that no matter what console you grew up with, you got an amazing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat-em-up game. And now that we're older, we can enjoy both of them. It's a win-win for us retro gamers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans.
Pizza power!